First time we met, I was sitting in this class at BYU and there was a seat open next to me.
I saw this girl with a bright red shirt, really blonde hair, really tan. I said, okay, I better go sit next to her.
And I had this purple bag of Skittles and I decided I would share with him.
She shared her bag of Skittles with me, so I thought things were going great. I said, okay, I'm totally gonna get a number. Sit next to her all semester.
At the end of class, he asked for my number. I gave it to him because I did think he was cute, but I was dating someone at the time. I ended up dropping the class because I had to take another in place of it.
I must have scared her off. So that was kind of how the first meeting went, and I never really saw her after that.
Something felt familiar in your face.
Kind of a funny story. So 2 years later, after the class, I got in a car wreck on October 21st and I had to go into the physical therapist for my neck and my back. When I went in there, I saw Ben. I was like, oh, hello. And he wasn't very interested, you could tell, because I didn't go out with him since I was dating someone at the time. So he was a little bitter about it.
I ended up treating her that day, and it was good to see her. I hadn't seen her in a couple years because we never did go on that first date when I met her. And so after that, the head therapist, one of the head therapists, Mark Peterson, he kept asking me if I would take her out, and I said, oh, well, I never did in the past, and I already knew her before, and honestly, I wasn't that excited. I mean, probably a little bit of pride hurt in the past because I didn't get to go on a date with her.
You could just kind of tell he wasn't very interested. Well, we talked, we got along really well, so I mean, I was definitely interested because I wasn't dating anyone at the time.
So eventually, after a few weeks of him nagging and me not really wanting to go, I said, oh, well, I better go out with her. She's definitely cute enough.
So finally, after a while, I texted him first, and I said something like, oh, your hands work wonders, this is Kelsey. And so he texted me back, and he was like, oh, hi, maybe I should ask you out, so we don't want to disappoint Mark or something.
So I took her out to this little Mexican restaurant called Maria Bonitas, and I really was not expecting a single thing out of the date. You know, I thought it would be a fun time, and I was kind of done with dating at the time. I took her out, and you know, I actually had a beanie on, and I had never worn a beanie in my whole life on a date, and I felt kind of bad about that now that I look back at it.
I feel like he just was asking me out just to kind of get Mark off of his back, and you could kind of tell he wasn't really into it.
We were having a good time, and we were talking about things, and one of my favorite things to ask girls that I took out was what you're passionate about.
He said music, and that's when he kind of lightened up. He's like, oh, music, because he sings and he loves music.
I knew she was this big athlete. I knew she was really successful, and so I asked her, and I heard music. I said, whoa, no way, because I'm really into music. I mean, I love music. So we started talking about that, and we ended up going back to her house since I didn't plan anything else because that was a bum.
We sang and played guitar and piano, and so I was having a great time with him. I was hoping, you know, for a second date. Wasn't really sure what he was thinking.
You know, it really shocked me. The first date was nothing like I expected, and eventually had some more dates after that.
I knew my heart was yours and yours was mine.
You know, I was a good guy and waited a while to have the first kiss.
It had been about 6-7 dates. We were laying down and just cuddling, and I remember thinking to myself, oh, I wonder if he's gonna kiss me or if he even wants to, because I was super nervous.
I mean, I think I was just really nervous because, like, yeah, I really like this girl. I don't know if I should yet. I don't know what she's thinking. And I think she had just talked to me before about how slowly she moves with guys and something to that effect, so it like really wigged me out because I was kind of planning on it.
I was just kind of laying down on his chest. He had his arm around me, and he was looking down, and then I looked up.
So I just laid one on her, and it worked out, I guess. You know, look where we are now. So.
What we found is second to none.
went ring shopping, and we actually found a ring the first day, and I loved it.
In my mind, I said, I'm not gonna pass this up. So I bought it, and she had no idea. The lady that we got it from at Zales, it was her mom's, one of her good friends. I said, look, we're gonna play a little gag. I'm not gonna let everybody know that I have it. So I'm gonna tell Kelsey that you sold it to someone else.
Well, a couple weeks later, we were at Walmart or something, and I was in the car, and he came out and he was like, hey, Kelsey, bad news.
That this lady called and told you that she sold it, and she says, and she was just devastated.
So I was pretty upset about it because she knew that I really liked it.
The funny part about it is that when I told her this, we were in the car, and I actually had the ring in the glove box, like right in front of her, sitting in the passenger seat. So I thought that was really funny. I had to keep from laughing that day.
We were gonna go ring shopping, and Callie and Kyle came down, and we were going on a double date. We ended up playing tennis a lot longer than we'd planned, so we didn't have time to go ring shopping. Then we were showing Callie and Kyle this place where we like skipped rocks, and he took me for a Sunday walk.
And we were walking down the path, and we went and swung on this swing set, and we just had a great time. It was one of those, just a special spot for us. So I planned to do it there pretty much the whole time. And so I had a friend of mine, Colin Pace. He came and set up these little white paper bags with little candles in them, and a little note and a couple other things at the end of this path that we're on right now, actually.
We walked down and we start skipping rocks, and it's raining, so we had umbrellas.
On our way back, it was pretty dark by then, and this was probably the most stressful day of my life, not because I was proposing, but because it was the only day it rained in Utah until this season. So I was pretty stressed out, and to say the least. I wanted to be perfect. I wanted every little thing to go okay.
To the left-hand side, we see this little path that's lit up, and they're little white paper bags with candles in them.
She thought that it was actually someone else doing it for someone's prom, because we saw a limo before and it was prom night or something like that, which worked out great, honestly. I wasn't planning that.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. So I'm thinking to myself, since there's a limo in front of us driving, that this is something that the guy set up for the girls. So you come through, and then this whole circle, it's like a big circle of lights, and then in the center there are all these rose petals and a plastic box with a letter in it that was rolled up and tied in a bow, and then this little rock with a heart on it.
She didn't want to open the box to read it because of the rain and ruin the note or whatever, and it took me about one try to say, just read it, I'll cover up, you know? I'll cover it up so it doesn't get wet. She's like, oh, okay, we got this. So
I opened the letter, and it's in this itty-bitty font, so I was kind of struggling reading because I was trying to hurry, because I wasn't trying to be there, you know, and ruin the surprise that these guys had.
By that time, behind us, her sister kind of saying, is this for them? Is this for me? So her husband just kind of stays quiet and kind of smiles and lets Kelsey read through it.
I get about halfway through, and it's talking about how they like went on a walk on a Sunday or whatever, and skipping rocks, and so I look up and I'm like, oh my gosh, babe, this is like our story.
I go, keep reading. So
I was trying to read it super fast, and I get to the end, and then I'm thinking to myself, wait, what the heck? Because I see my name at the bottom, so I'm so confused.
And I handed her the umbrella with enough time for me to kneel down behind her and pull out the ring that she loved from the very start.
And I turn around, and he's on his knee with this ring that I had no idea he bought because he told me that it was sold. And so I was so surprised. First thing I said was, what? Like, I had no idea.
More than anything, I was so happy because I wanted it to be a surprise, because I mean, everyone was expecting it.
Whenever we fall, and what we found is second to none.
There are so many things that I love about Ben. Just the way he looks at me, I think, is my favorite thing, and how he smiles, because I know he loves me, and it's just the cutest look I've ever seen. The other thing I love is that when we were just first dating, and even now, he always has something fun planned, and there was always some activity, and so he loves going out and doing things, and very adventurous. And I mean, every time I'm with him, I love every second of it. And I am so happy to spend the rest of my life with him because it's just gonna be the greatest life ever.
Well, I guess I can't say everything, even though I do. First off, when we started dating, more than anything, I love how driven she is. I mean, she's definitely one of the most competitive people that I know. I mean, describes her whole, why she's so successful in everything. With tennis and school and work and everything she's done is just, she has such redeeming qualities in that way. Besides that, she has such a tender heart. I mean, the first thing she told me, one of the first things she told me is that she doesn't cry much, but over the last few months we've been dating, I mean, I've seen a different side of that, and she's cried at really tender things like small animals or animals that were injured or little baby things like that. It is just like, I can tell that she has such a tender and caring and thoughtful just heart, and that's what I loved about her. And besides being the most beautiful girl I've ever dated and just having so much fun with her, I can't wait to spend the rest of my life.
I knew this would be love. I knew this would be love. I knew this would be love. I knew this would